Hello from the people of the internet. I am Hyper Super Sora, and Across the Spiderverse happened. Now I know I'm a bit late on it. This is just my first impressions video though. I wanted to try to avoid some spoilers, and this is your massive spoiler warning right now. If you haven't seen Across the Spiderverse yet, click off this video. I'm going to talk about things that happened in this movie, but these are my first thoughts. Maybe I'll talk more about it when it comes out on DVD. You guys remember what those things are? Maybe I'll do another video in the future about it, but these are just like my first thoughts. Not right after the movie, a little bit after. But I thought the movie was good. I liked the movie. If I did this right after I watched the movie, I'd be screaming, I'd be jumping up and down, the hype. But I wanted that to die down a bit. My main criticism, it's kind of a nitpick almost, is that I would feel that one, if you didn't see the first movie, this wouldn't make any sense. And two, if you weren't a die-hard Spider-Man fan and comic book guy like I am, none of this shit would make any sense. But I talked to a guy at work who seemed to like it even though he knew none of the shit, so what do I know? Because the story is still and should always be rooted in the characters. You got Miles, you got Gwen, you got the newcomer, Miguel O'Hara, you got the villain, Spot, you got Peter B. Parker, you got them driving the story, and you do have your sidekicks, comic relief characters, I forget whatever the one Spider-Man is, the Indian one, the one that went on the rant about chai tea, even though he called it chai tea, you fucking asshole! And Spider-Punk, who is just on that line of me wanting to either punch in the face, or go to the club with him. How are you even cooler without your mask? I was always this cool. He's on the fine line of me wanting to punch him in the face. He rides it so well, though. But the movie starts off with Gwen, of all people. And I'm kind of thinking, so is Gwen going to be the main character of this movie? She's not. But we see her and her home universe doing her thing. And then eventually fighting this new version of Vulture, who's kind of like origami? I don't know. And then she runs into Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man of 2099, the Blue Panther, funny, and this other Spider-Woman that I can't remember the name of to save my life. Pregnant one that hits people with a motorcycle. And they recruit her into this spider group of people that's protecting the multiverse. That Vulture wasn't from Gwen's universe. Miles is the one that calls it the Spider-Verse. And Miguel calls it something else. It's just like, no, that's stupid. It's blah, blah, blah. And that's also stupid. We'll work on it. Workshop it later. Work on it, pig. But then it transitions into Miles' universe and he's still being Spider-Man. Of course he is. For about a year and a half now. I think it was. He's doing Spider-Man stuff. He's struggling. He's trying to juggle social life, family life, Spider-Man work, school work. He's trying to juggle all that. And he comes across this new villain of the week, the Spot. I am your nemesis. No, you're not. Takes care of him and then goes to his thing. Drama is happening between him and his parents because, he has all these different responsibilities that are taking his time. Hi. The phrase that they're really going for is you can't have the cake and eat it too. Spider-Man being that hero is a burden a lot of the times. Does sacrifices to help people, all that stuff. that we've seen in the other movies. Now it's Miles' turn. And he wants to tell his parents after they have a big fight. Then who shows up but Gwen? They have some ensuing drama, revealed the Spot is actually becoming a big-time villain. Kind of destroying the Spider-Verse. First making all sorts of anomalies and completely blowing shit up. To figure, all he needed was a palette swap. The Spot actually did appear in the last movie. He was the guy that Miles threw the bagel at, which I thought was hilarious. And nope, not the Spot yet. And he was like stuck when the collider blew up and he got all these portal powers. And now he's trying to either A, get more powers, and B, actually be seen as a legitimate threat. He's more of an inciting incident, as I would call it. He's more of the inciting incidents that motivates the rest of the characters. Gwen is after the Spot because he causes all these anomalies wherever he goes, and we learn later on that anomalies equal no more universe, and that's kind of bad. She fucks up because she goes sees Miles. Miles figures this out, uses his invisibility power to figure out she wasn't supposed to see him, and she lied to him. Opens up a portal and says goodbye, Miles, as he's standing right in front of her, invisible, and he goes after her. Yeah, romantic subplot, I don't care. I'll get to it at the end. Meets this whole group, which I'm assuming is it's either in between dimensions or it's in Miguel O'Hara's home dimension. This big giant group of spider-powered people, even though Miguel wasn't bitten by a radioactive spider, but yeah, met all these crazy Spider-Man people. Well, small elite team, huh? It's a big multiverse. This is a small elite team. And Miguel seems to be very stressed out about his work, if you ask me. Dude needs a vacation. Forgot to bring out that before they go there, they go to this other dimension where they meet the Indian Spider-Man and run into Spider-Punk too. Trying to stop the Spot, failing, and Miles accidentally saves someone who was supposed to die. And that causes the universe to start pretty much imploding on itself. The other spider people are trying to fix this. Gwen even tried to stop him from saving the guy. But I have to agree with Miles in this aspect. If I had the chance to save somebody, I'm going to do it. And I also can see where Miguel is coming from. It's just like, yeah, we could try to save this one person, but one or literally countless for an entire universe. That's the moral dilemma of the heart of this movie. If you have the power to save one, even though it does risk countless other lives, should you? Would you? Miguel is on one side, Miles is on the other. And Miles figures out that they could have seen him, they didn't, and they're basically going to keep him there. So his dad, who's going to die in what they call a canon event, which has to happen, and he doesn't want to see his dad die. Duh, nobody does. Initially, Miguel is trying to ease him into this, do a softer touch, and when that doesn't work, then he gets violent. We figure out that Miles was the first anomaly in the Spider-Verse. Remember the spider that bit him in the first movie? Remember how that was from a different dimension? Yeah, uh-oh. But big climactic battle at end. We see Spider-Punk is messing with some things that come up later on. Get to meet Peter B. Parker again, who has a small child. Aw, how cute. He had a baby. That baby's an anomaly too, isn't it? Isn't she? Oh well. I suppose he can't hate the universe that much. Let me talk about Miguel's backstory. He discovered the Spider-Verse. He was the first one to dimension travel on purpose. And survived the trip. There we go. And survived the trip. And he gave himself the perfect life. He had the wife, he had the kid. It was wonderful. Because in that universe, not his home one, the version of him died. And all it seemed to work out just fine. They lost their Miguel, he lost his family. Easy enough. The universe doesn't like to be fucked with like that. So eventually the entire universe just imploded. Because of all these fucked up things that happen to both time and space. I don't know why they call it a universe thing when the Spider-Man 29 guy and Miguel O'Hara is clearly a time travel thing, so they're clearly messing with both time and space, but okay. Miguel firsthand knows the experience of fucking with canon events, and he is not willing to do it again. Okay. I'm jumping all over the place. This movie is good, and you can follow it quite easily. It's been a while since I've watched it. Miguel backstory, trying to ease Miles into accepting the fact that his dad is going to die. Hi. Newsflash, nobody's going to fucking accept that fact very easily. Okay, what else? What else can I talk about before I talk about the fucking climax of this movie that I love? Spider-Punk's messing with shit. I like how people of this are talking about mentor figures, and I think Spider-Punk, ironically enough, is the best mentor figure in this movie. Because he's totally willing to lay back, just help people out, and let them fuck up. The pregnant Spider-Woman is kind of the mentor for Gwen, and Peter B. Parker is kind of the mentor for Miles. They both suck, by the way. But yeah, Miles wants to go help his dad. Miguel is against that since that will fuck with the canon event and his universe will be destroyed. There's a chance. They could save it, they could not. But it's not certain. Miguel wants the certainty. Miles is willing to take the risk. There's the conflict. And thus the fight ensues. Miguel is a very brutal fighter. Miles gets chased in this whole new world that he doesn't know. Runs around, all these spider people trying to get them, a fucking cat, a fucking T-Rex, there's a guy with the horse has the powers too. Who you get to see Spectacular Spider-Man, there's Spider-Man Unlimited, I get to see Ben Reilly in this movie, oh! I heard a rumor that it took like 4 years to animate the Spider-Man chase scene, and I can see why. And it was worth every painstaking second. That scene is amazing. But there is a slow moment of that where Peter B. Parker gets to talk to Miles. Unfortunately, the little watch things they have that let them travel between dimensions and make it so they don't die in their dimensions, and their new dimensions, also has tracking features, so Miguel is able to track them. But Miles also figures out that pretty much everybody knew and kept this from him. And understandably, that makes a wedge in between Miles and the rest of the cast. And Penny shows up again. She gets like 2 lines of dialogue, I think. At least there was no Nicolas Cage in this movie. And he does feel betrayed, and it makes sense for him to feel that way. Chase goes up again, and eventually they're on a space elevator. Miles trying to do something. Miguel in hot pursuit is just like, did he have a plan when he did this? Yes, he did. Miguel's got Miles pinned at one point. point, it's just like, dude, you don't need to be this brutal. Because Gwen described him as Vampire Spider-Man. He's got the claws, he's got the teeth. Yeah, Vampire Spider-Man seems about right. But Miles uses his new absorption trick that I learned earlier from the movie and Spider-Punk to help develop. Oh, don't use your fingers, use your whole hand. To knock Miguel out for a while, and he goes, I had some other plan. I lured like hundreds of spider people away from your main base. Oh, shit. Woo! Reaches this machine that's specifically designed to take all the villains they capture and send them home. He's trying to use it to send himself home. There was also another thing I forgot to mention where Miles is trying to get a little farther her distance from his parents, go to the new school, do college. His New Jersey is too far away from New York. And, crap, brain, work. And they're kind of holding tight to him, and he wants them to let them go. He wants them to let him go. Oh, ironically enough, he can't let his dad go, so there's the irony there. But yeah, fires up a machine to send him home. Two computer spider people. One is the AI in the wristbands, and another is just a new friend Miles made that day. Are trying to stop it. They figure out what's going on all the rest of them, and get there, ready to go. Take down Miles. And this person just barely met him, but they formed a connection because Spider Sense lets him go to his home dimension. Remember how that spider wasn't from his home dimension? Yeah, he's not in his home dimension anymore. And through the fight, he lost his temporary wristband to make it so he doesn't die outside of his own. He figures it out when he starts glitching in the new dimension. He does have a heartwarming thing with his mother, revealing, I'm Spider-Man. This universe doesn't have a Spider-Man. He didn't get sent home, he got sent to the universe that the spider that bit him, he came to that universe. And Gwen's giving Miguel shit while this is happening. It's just like, how'd you expect him to react, you dumb fuck? To eventually where Miguel kicks her out of the group too. At first I was just like, wait, why aren't you taking away the watch from her? Then she could just travel wherever she wants. Yeah, he thought of that. There's like a lock on it where she can't use it anymore. And he goes to try to hunt down Miles in the universe that he thinks he went to, which is his home one. With the one pregnant spider chick, himself, and Ben Reilly, who's emo. I love him. By the way, where's Spider-Punk all this? He said he quit. And he took a little visit to Spider-Gwen's dimension before he did. Gwen gets thrown back in her home universe again. There was a conflict between her and her dad. Just like he figured out that she was Spider-Man and he was trying to hunt her down to bring her to justice, blah, blah, blah. Once he figures it out, at first he's doing his regular cop thing, and then later on it's just revealed that he quit his job because his daughter is more important than his job. Good. Said, hey, someone had a gift for you. He's very insistent on it. And it's this watch that lets her travel through dimensions, and Spider-Punk helped create it. She travels to a new dimension, takes out Ben Reilly, and is on the quest to find Miles. Meanwhile, with Miles, he's figured out he's not in his home dimension, told this alternate version of his mom that he's Spider-Man, finds out that his Uncle Aaron is still alive, and kinda sucks, and his dad is dead, and figures out and meets this alternate version of himself, the Prowler. And that's where the movie ends, him being captured by this alternate version of himself. The fucking ending of this movie got me. I feel so ashamed of that. I was ready to sit down for another 3 hours, but I gotta wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I was worried walking into this that it would not be a complete story. But the thing that was the arc for Miles in this was him going, nah, I'm just going to do my own thing. We see that in the trailer. Which is advice that his mother gave him. Don't let people tell you you don't belong. Stand up to them. And he does. He really does. Because at the beginning he was just looking to fit into this big spider group of people. People wanting his friends back from the alternate dimensions. That's his main motivation. He wanted to research alternate dimensions so he could go see his friends again. And when they tell him, no, we don't want to be you, we betrayed you in a lot of cases, his perfect scene, I think of it, is when Gwen webs him, trying to catch him, right on his chest, and he just remembers the betrayal, and he snaps the web. Breaking that metaphorical bond, it's just like, we were friends. Not anymore. And I swear, Beyond the Spider-Verse, I don't doubt the writers in this at all. They have given me 2 solid things that I love. Beyond the Spider-Verse, have Miles give these people a lot of shit. Now I know he's gonna forgive them eventually, but I want them to earn it. I don't want him to go, hey, you're back, we're best friends again. I want him to fucking go, no, you fuckers betrayed me, I don't want your help. That's what I would personally do. And I would have them fucking fight and earn his trust again. This review has been kind of a mess, because the movie is kind of a mess in some regards. But the characters, the music, which I think is a step down from the first movie, if I'm being honest. Storyline. The few nitpicks I have about this movie, it being too many references for people to keep up with. I can't even name them all. And maybe being a little clunky in some plot areas. Well, really we only focus on 2 real plot points, which is really Miles' story and Gwen's story. The rest are connected via Miles and or Gwen. So, again, all the good in this movie outweighs any bad, I could say. Do I like it better than the first one? No. Sadly, no. Maybe the third one will change that. I don't know yet. But I think the first one is just a better overall experience. This one may have some too much stuff. But I still love this movie too. The characters, the story, the action, the music, the references, the humor. There is very little in this movie I don't like. The only things I don't really like are, 1, the amount of references that might make it harder for newcomers, barrier to entry stuff, and 2, the fact that it ended with that fucking cliffhanger of Miles being stuck in an alternate dimension and away from home with no way to get back, and being trapped by an alternate evil version of himself. That's what I mean by barrier of entry. This movie was great still. It's still a long year. Maybe they'll come out with a better movie. I doubt it. This is so far my movie of the year, period. And man, I am so hyped for Beyond the Spider-Verse. But what did you guys think of Across the Spider-Verse? Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. And subscribe to see more than a weekly YouTuber. And hit that little notification bell to see when I upload all the time. Until next time, in Hyper Supersora, sayonara.